Margaret, good morning.
Hello.
Well, Margaret, what would you like to see back on air?
Oh, sure, you know, the Late with Gay Byrne.
The proper Late, says you.
The proper Late, yeah.
And why, like Ryan Tubridy, he comes on, it's reasonably entertaining. What is it that's missing?
Well, I think he's a little bit scared, is he?
Nervous?
Yeah, I think he's a bit nervous and probably wants to do the right thing, whereas Gay just gets out there and does it. I think he's just a pro, at what he does,
I love Gay
Byrne. And obviously he has age, and experience more, I'd say, than Ryan,
Yeah, but even when you watch The Meaning of Life, which I think is on a Sunday evening now, he's just so comfortable in his skin.
He is, yeah.
And he's very insightful. You don't get a sense that he's reading from a script. He seems to react to what people say very well.
Skills.
He does.
He looks at the person, he smiles at them. Even though the other person might say something that he might disagree with, he will accept it, and keep to his own ideas himself,
And what about the topics he dealt with? Because I often hear criticism of Ryan because he tends to have celebrities on and they talk about their book or their CD or whatever they're promoting, rather than getting his teeth into something meaty.
Yeah, I think again, I suppose it's probably to do with a little bit of inexperience, and maybe he doesn't know enough about the guests he has on, not enough in-depth knowledge. Maybe that's just a judgment, but I feel there's no connection.
But here's the proof of the pudding, Margaret. Ryan Tubridy's figures on the Late Show are excellent. He draws a big audience.
Yes, well, I suppose he attracts a particular genre, of people who likes his style and that sort of thing. So, everyone has their following, I guess.
But he doesn't appeal to you?
Well, it's not that he doesn't appeal to me. I think he's kind of, young and, he's with it, with the crowd. But, I suppose there's a lot of people that like the old, there was one program which really kind of affected me, and that was one of them where he had one of the, a particularly challenging one, where he had, the guy from the Corrs.
Yes, Jim Corr,
Yeah, he came on to discuss something, and there was people in the audience and things like that. And I think the way he dealt with that was very poor. And I just felt that it was a contrived show, you know what I mean? Where whether he dumbed it down or the RTE dumbed it down or something. But I just felt he didn't have the confidence and the strength to not be afraid to challenge or to listen even, Well,
I remember Jim Corr, after that interview, was very unhappy and felt that he had been set up almost and that he didn't get to express the points that he wanted to.
Yes.
But Gay Byrne, in his own right, could control the programme very carefully as well. He was the executive producer, if I'm not mistaken, for many years.
Right,
and
okay.
Do you remember, Bishop, was it Eamon Casey's partner or whatever, the woman who had the child with him, she was on and she was deeply offended by Gay because Gay made some sort of remark that, well, if the child grows up to be anything like his dad, he'll be doing well. And she said, well, if he grows up to be anything like his mum, he won't be too badly off either. And with that, she stood up and legged it. So Gay could put his foot in his mouth just as much as the rest of us. And by the grace of God, go any of us, on the air in terms of making a mess.
He's just a human as well, It's just that I suppose he's not afraid to challenge, what's going on in society. He doesn't know what people want to ask. And he has great feeling for what's going on on the ground, you know what I mean, for the people, that sort of way.
Yeah, he is, well, in my view, the standard bearer when it comes to broadcasting in this country. There will never be anybody like him ever again.
I think he's beyond censure. What do you think?
He's what?
Beyond censure. He can't, he doesn't mind asking provocative questions or even having provocative guests on,
No, he certainly doesn't. And I suppose we will never see his like again, but if you could turn back time, you would restore the Late Show with Gay Byrne at the helm, front and centre.
I would, yeah.
Margaret, thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
Thanks indeed. Let's go to Mullingar. Liz, good morning.
How's it going?
Well, what would you like to see back on the telly?
I think I'll go along with Sinead there after you slating the poor girl. Bring back Bosco.
Well, and what is the appeal of Bosco?
It's just the simplicity of it all. That's what's wrong with the kids nowadays. Everything's got to press a button to do something. It's more so, I'd say, just the simplicity of the whole thing. But the best show I do remember, and it wasn't on RTE, it was Cheggers Plays Pop.
Oh, you'll have to explain that to me now. I've never heard of it.
It was on BBC One, and Keith Chegwin used to do the show, and his wife Maggie was on it as well. And basically there was two teams, like they'd be teenagers, they could say 12, 14 up, and there was two groups against each other. And it was all based around pop music and what songs were out at the time. And then you'd have whatever band was highest in the charts that week on the show as well. So I think a bit of music and a bit of laughter go down well on telly now.
Absolutely. You must have been posh growing up having the BBC.
Yes, we were. We were very posh, yes.
We only had Bog 1 and Bog 2. I think it was 1995 or something when, through very scratchy cable TV, we managed to get a glimpse of the BBC.
Yeah, the coat hanger wasn't working tight at all in the back garden.
No. It was cable TV, and it was like watching the moon landing, with all these flickers through the telly. Thank God for digital television.
Oh, sure, look, I know they're going to be changing it around again, so the aerials will be coming down, but I think what's on the telly now, it's a bit too dull, a bit too down, and you just need a bit of laughter and a bit of fun.
One thing you notice a lot on the Sky channels are all these compilation programmes where they have the top 30 greatest moments on television. And invariably they end up going back to the 1970s or the 1980s because that's when television seemed to be better.
Like, when you think back, I don't know, I'm going to show my age now. There was programmes like The Magic Roundabout and The Clangers. They were on BBC One. And there was another one, I think you couldn't get away with it now because people would probably say it was discriminating. And it was a programme called Mind Your Language. And it was basically trying to teach foreign students the English language. And of course, it always ended up in an argument in the programme. But you'd have to look at it to see it.
Yeah, no, I never saw that, but I can only imagine how un-PC it would be, and you'd have all these people from political correct lobbies saying you can't be doing that.
This is it. Like, I can remember my ma looking at one soap from Australia, long before Neighbours ever came, or what was the other one, Home and Away. It was called Sons and Daughters. Now, that would have been, 75, 77, around that time she was looking at it. So, like, there is a lot of stuff that's gone. Like, the actors that was in Sons and Daughters are now in Home and Away and Neighbours. Like, Fair City that's on the telly, to me that's a load of you-know-what. I don't like it at all.
What about Glenroe? Bring back Glenroe?
They should. The next generation. They should.
Glenroe, the next generation. Better than Star Trek.
Yeah, beam them all up out of the place. No, but if they done possibly Glenroe, The Return, or something like that, and started off with, sadly, Miley being laid to rest.
Yeah. And, well, Dinny has since passed away as well.
Yeah, crikey.
Or did Dinny die during the series? I can't remember. He
did. I think it was 3/4 way. I think it was come to the end, and he went off to America with the one that he married, and that's how they brought him out of the show.
What was her name? Teasy, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was Teasy, yeah.
Yeah, because she owned the pub, wasn't it? And then, I don't know, I think the priest took... No, it wasn't the priest that took it over. I was thinking of something else there. But, yeah, that's the way they took him out of the show, was to say he went off to America to live.
But it was so much more innocent back then, because do you remember Miley and Fidelma? Wasn't that her name? Biddy's cousin, Fidelma.
Yeah.
They got jiggy with it at one stage. And the whole country was outraged. How could Miley two-time his wife for Fidelma, this... Well, everybody said she was attractive looking. I never thought she was that much. But anyway, he committed heresy and a sin in doing that. And sure, today, it would be very tame compared to what you see on EastEnders or even in Fair City. The storylines are just that bit more racy now, and Glenroe would almost seem boring.
It depends on what way you'd actually bring it back. This is the thing about it. You'd really want to bring it really up to date. But I think there's a lot of things, like, you see enough doom and gloom on the news that you need to look at an hour-long special of gangland shootings, gangland killings, drug wars, or anything like that. You know, let's be cheerful.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing stuff, all right, isn't it? Or another documentary about how all the bankers lost our money, etc. You get fed up of it after a while.
Look, we're going to have a laugh this Thursday. Please, God, fingers crossed. Jedward is going to do something for us, hopefully.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, come on, you big kid, you. You should get behind them, Will.
I just don't like them. And that's just and that's a personal opinion, and I accept thousands and thousands of people do. But I just think they are, while they're nice guys, they are animated, they certainly entertain people, but as singers in a song contest, I'm sorry. They couldn't even get through X Factor.
Look, forget who they are. What do you think of the song?
Okay, I'll plead the fifth on that, Liz, if that's okay by you.
Because it's something that's catchy. Forget about who's singing it. As I always say, any gobshite can sing a song, but it's the song that makes the person.
And
So
you
we just have to
obviously
wait
like
and
the
see.
song.
Oh, God, first time I heard it. So fingers crossed on Thursday.
Okay. I'll just
I'm
be
lighting up
Scrooge
for
here
this
in the
price.
corner and shut up, so I will, because I just really...
Well, I tell you, I know what we do. I think Sinead and myself need to take you out for the weekend, get you completely legless, tie you to a chair and make you look a Bosco. That'll probably make you change your mind.
Getting legless I can do. As for Bosco, I'd need to be legless to sit down and watch it for hours on end.
We'd still take your eyes open just to make sure you see every little piece of it. You don't miss something.
She just gave me a salute, a one-fingered salute. Does that mean I'm number one? Yes, number one in the Midlands, Sinead, that's it. Liz, thanks for the call.
Take care, bye.
Thanks indeed. Oh, I love this next one. We have Maureen in Clonaslee who wants to bring back... Maureen?
What's the Grummage?
Oh, yes, the Scarecrow.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
And what was Aunt Sally? Was that
And
the
Aunt
name?
Sally,
of the...
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. And my own kids, they just absolutely adored it. And we were over visiting in England, my husband and myself, and we looked all over the place to get the CDs, the DVDs, and we found them. And we brought them back for the grandchildren. And they still have them. They still look at them. These come up every Sunday. They lie there in their beds and they absolutely enjoying every minute of it.
Oh, yeah, but it's timeless. That was made in New Zealand, wasn't it? Or
I
somewhere
think
down
so,
there?
yeah. But I would look at that myself. And there was another one used to be on, and I remember one of the lads here, Mark, he used to literally come absolutely up the road, which he had to walk about nearly a mile and a half up the road every evening. Even the Eddie Lenihan would be on telling the stories. He was absolutely brilliant, and actually he was on a visit to Laois here a few years, about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little bit more, no, about 3 or 4 years ago, I think. And I had him in the library here, and I went to the schools and I told him he was going to be, this man was going to be telling stories, and I got a response from one school, all right, and he brought the teacher of the day brought in his 2 classes, I think, and I thought to myself, God, they're not going to listen. Well, do you know what? And they were the older classes, and they thought he was absolutely brilliant.
Great, they were enraptured.
Enraptured, and I couldn't keep his books out afterwards for them to read it.
Here's one that just dawned on me. Do you remember Teabag?
Who?
Teabag.
Teabag, yes.
Teabag, this witch who had her tea plant.
Yeah, and then there was Pippi Longstockings.
Oh, that's a new one on me. Pippi Longstockings.
Pippi Longstockings. Oh, she was hilarious. Oh, she was just so hilarious. And I think they did kind of a comics afterwards with her. But she was absolutely brilliant. She was... they used to love it here, looking at, they did those programmes. Because, I mean, I think this thing of Zach and Cody, Hannah Montana, I just even said to my granddaughter, only this morning it was on while she was... getting ready for school, and I said, why are they all shouting? Why do they have to scream?
You're just getting older, Maureen.
That's it. But no, it just doesn't do anything for me. But I think those programmes, if they were shown now and again, the kids would really love them.
What about the Gummy Bears? Do you remember the Gummy Bears? Gummy Bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere.
But the Gummy Bears back again, isn't he?
Are the Gummy Bears back?
Yeah, they are, because I didn't know he was back, because it must be on the BBC programme or something, because I have a little grandson, he's 3, and he's going around singing Gummy Bear.
No way.
Yeah, I think he's back on some, because I meant to say to my daughter, what programme are they on again, or where are they? But he's going around singing it.
Sinead, did you know the Gummy Bears are back? No?
Yeah, well, they're on
Walsh
some
didn't
of the
seem to know. Nobody here knows.
No, well, they're on some of the programmes. I must ask her when she comes in, and I'll ring Sinead and tell her.
Do. I'd love to see
but
the Gummy Bears
Bear
again.
anyway, because they're singing it. He's singing it anyway, so he must have saw it. I haven't seen him.
And gummy berry juice. I remember making up Ribena and pretending it was gummy berry juice. I was a sad kid. Deprived. Anyway. Maureen, thanks for the call.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. 0818 300 103 is our phone number. I think we have the Gummy Bear song. That'll be great. And yeah, Teabag was, I have to admit, occasionally pretended I was Teabag and clicking the fingers and making things disappear. How about I click the fingers